Hello, my beautiful, amazing Aquarius. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing your general love reading, this 5-card spread. Then I'm going to draw a Vampire Oracle for you, and then a card from Favole, and then one card from the French Tarot deck of Le Tarot Interdit Vampiria. But let's get started with card number 1, which is you. Then the second is the other person. The third, the relationship. The fourth, the past. And the fifth, the future. Okay, but let's look at the first one, which is you. Prince of Grails, Knight of Cups. My goodness. Yes. I'm getting both the ones in a relationship, but also the ones who are single. You have so much to offer. You're going to be proposing something. And that's what the Knight of Cups is all about, is this big offering of this big chalice of whatever it may be. Now, for the ones who are in a beautiful relationship, it looks like that you're going to be instigating like new proposals, new offerings. Maybe you want to add more adventures and excitement in your romantic life with your current spouse or companion, whoever you're currently with. And for the ones who are in a single position, maybe you are on the cusp of about to propose to somebody, or maybe somebody's going to be proposing to you. You could be with a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or maybe a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio placements in your star chart as well. But that's kind of what I get from this card so far, but it's also incredibly beautiful because it's also kind of like watching somebody from a distance. So maybe you're also kind of waiting for the time, the right time to maybe, will instigate this proposal to whoever you have your eyes on in this distance. Fabulous. Oh my goodness. Yes, okay, I'm kind of getting something here because it could be from an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But what this person is this person is also waiting for you to propose to them. This person is exhausted beyond belief, but they're not giving up because, they're just thinking, come on, Aquarius, approach me. I'm waiting for you, please. If you have something to say to me or even ask me, please do it now. I'm tired, but I'm kind of losing my patience here a little bit. So this person is exhausted beyond belief, but, they're just kind of waiting for you just to propose to you, that proposal moment. But if you're in a single position, maybe, you're also exhausted beyond belief, but, you're just, you're not going to give up on, heading towards this proposition or this potential love interest of whoever you have your eyes on, which I think is very important because nothing worth having doesn't come easy, but it's also about how the timing, it can really cause one to feel exhausted beyond belief. But the most important crux and name of any game is to never give up on what you want, wish, and desire. Because the relationship, 7 of Scepters. You are very loving, loyal, and supportive individuals because the relationship is based off of this real, grand protection and passionate support, especially coming from you. Remarkable work, my beloved Aquarius, and please don't give up because you are a very highly intelligent individual and you probably know exactly how everything is just working out regarding relationships. But what I also see here for the single ones in this love reading is that you're also incredibly loving, caring, loyal, and supportive, but maybe people haven't acknowledged or observed those traits of yours as of yet. But as long as you just don't give up, so something is definitely going to work out for you. I mean, you might end up with a Virgo in the end, or maybe you might end up doing some more introspection, but either way, as long as you just don't give up, because this is also kind of like a fighting kind of card, a defending kind of card as well, because it's like you're protecting your idea children and crops in this situation. In the past, the Page of Skulls, the Prince, no, sorry about that, the Knight of Skulls, oh my goodness, yes. So, you are more or less heading towards something slowly but surely, but of course, timing is everything, sad but true. And sometimes, the slower the better. It's like, how this one human, no, actually it's not, it's actually my human familiar. Sorry about that. But anyway, it's like, sometimes he prepares these meals for himself. Of course, I can't eat any of that stuff. But he recently purchased a slow cooker for himself. And he was even advised by whoever sold him that thing, the slower the cook, the longer the taste or something, whatever it was. So he's pretty much, occasionally going to start using that thing. And of course, but outside of that little thing, the thing is the slower the better. And so Sometimes it just takes time just to wait for the proper moment to propose, or maybe even the proper moment to offer more adventures and excitements or flares in any kind of romantic reading for that matter. Because in the future, there's definitely going to be some introspection taking place. But this is also about hesitancy. Do you feel hesitant about approaching this person? Because this person is definitely waiting for you in other ways. And if you feel hesitant about being with this person, I would really let that be known as soon as possible and not just kind of stand here in a distance observing them and just thinking, you know what, I need to rethink my priorities first, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not so sure I want to actually proceed with this offering. Or are you the one who's just kind of getting all exhausted from having to wait so long for maybe this this love interest? It could definitely be maybe a Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo for that matter, but this person could also be taking their sweet time as well. And maybe you're also just thinking, you know what, I've been waiting for like maybe a year, 3 years, 5 years, or hopefully not even longer than that. But everybody's different for that matter. But if you feel like that, this person is taking a little too long to head in your direction and stuff like that, I can understand how you pretty much just think, you know what, I'm just going to go kind of into introverted mode for a while and just kind of rethink my priorities and my everything that I need and stuff like that. But I'm wondering, if you're in a committed relationship, why you would need to do some introspection as well. Because Oracle says supernatural, inexplicable, miraculous, and otherworldly. Maybe this is kind of like the Page of Cups kind of situation, because you see the fish here, and that's kind of like, the Pisces more or less kind of card. Maybe you're currently with a Pisces, or maybe have your eyes on a Pisces. But what I'm kind of getting here is, it's like maybe you are hesitant because this kind of daydream of that there's something miraculous or otherworldly, in the future is going to be heading towards you. But that's why you're just kind of thinking, you know what? I don't want to deal with any daydreams or fairy tales. I want to actually have a realistic relationship or love interest or offering for that matter. And maybe that's why you're kind of a bit on the hesitant side and just watching from a distance thinking, you know what? Second thought, yeah, this person, is desperate to want to be with me, but in this situation, I really can't think of, I can't, think logically. That's why I see you actually heading off into the future in hermit mode. However, you could also be, proposing, any kind of offerings that come across as being otherworldly, and maybe hypothetically the other person probably, will refuse, and now you're pretty much going into hermit mode into thinking, well, now you pretty much have to rethink some kind of alternative plan for that matter, or maybe, you're just kind of thinking through the whole relationship as well. Because Favole wants to add, Three of Roses equals Three of Pentacles. Now, what I see here is, you could have many love offerings. You could be currently in a love triangle, but this is also about partnership and collaboration in any way. And so maybe, it's like you're going to be asking your friends and family in the future about, your whole current situation. Well, maybe why you feel kind of hesitant about this love offering, or maybe you're hesitant about proposing to somebody or approaching somebody for that matter as well. But either way, there's probably, maybe that's why you're going to be heading off either, in a singlehood or maybe in a relationship mode. Maybe you're going to, head off towards your siblings, your friends, or people who you trust the most, and ask them for some kind of advice regarding this whole relationship and maybe why the other person feels exhausted beyond belief. Because the French tarot deck, yes, and I was kind of a bit worried about this, says de paix. So this is 10 of Swords. There's going to be some potential painful ending, that could be, somewhere in the future. Maybe, you already, foresaw this in the beginning, because maybe, you pretty much just thought, you know what? I don't know if I want to actually proceed with this whole relationship and romantic offering, because to be honest, I just only see it more as a painful ending, and this is where you're already kind of rethinking the whole offering and process for that matter. You're going to be asking your friends and family who you hold dear and trust about this whole process and this whole, general, theme that you're kind of struggling with and stuff like that. And, you could face a painful ending, but you could also end up, with somebody who's also waiting for you and stuff like that. Or maybe, it's like, something might even transpire. Maybe, the painful ending could be you saying goodbye to your singlehood as well. Okay. Well, sad but true, I'm going to have to leave it at this for now, my beloved Aquarius. But if this reading resonated for you, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. I love you guys incredibly. In a few days, I'm going back to general reading. So for now, I'm just doing love in general. If you want a personal reading, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel. I love you guys incredibly. I want to wish you all the best. And yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and I love you guys.